Hello and welcome to This Is Gonna Sound Weird. I'm Dana Louise. Thank you for joining me. Um, I'm making these videos as part of my energy exercise addendum to the back of my book. There are things that I talk about in the book, and I wasn't gonna do any exercises, but here we are. Um, So this is just kind of like a little bit more explanation about the energy work and some things that I have come across and stumbled upon and blah, 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 blah. Somebody sent me a video about this woman. Her name was Matilda O'Donnell McElroy. And apparently in 1947, she was um, there for Roswell when the ships were, or there was a crash and they did recon and went and rescued the vehicle and or the bodies apparently supposed to be with the crash site. And I'm not going to go into a lot of that, but of course, right away. So anyway, there's this guy in like 2007 or 8. He supposedly, this was her deathbed confession, so this is 1947 and she was a nurse and, there, and the alien that was alive was willing to telepathically communicate with her, which I get. And it was not willing to communicate with other people. And most of those people were men, and most of those people were men in the military. And so there's a lot of shut off thinkology with all of that, if you can understand that premise. And she was a nurse, so she's more open, blah, blah, blah. So the way I take it is the entity was willing to talk to her. Now, and this man came upon these notes from this woman on her deathbed. Somehow it was sent to him. I'm just saying that I think all of this is pretty much fictitious there because there's a lot of holes in it. But this was a way for this person to protect themselves, which is what I could have done. I could have made my book. This is gonna sound weird. I could have made it fictitious, but I'm a system buster and I'm just putting it out there. What do I care? I'm jailbreak. So my book is nonfiction, and I feel like this was this man's book, and it is fiction. And I don't know if this woman was real. I don't know what's real, what's true, what's not. But anyway, so here she is, and she's dealing with these entities, and it's a gray or entity, and it's a gray. And I'm just going to fast forward that. So this is the part that I believe is completely true because of um, um, growing up having gray aliens over my crib since basically the day I was born. I've interacted with them. So I kind of know what's true, right? So, they're describing the situation and everything. And I'm like, yes, this is clicking. This is clicking. So Matilda is talking to this ET, and the ET describes itself or its body as, I'm going to say more like a carbon unit, more like a mask or a doll. That's how the entity is describing the physicality of the 3D dense being that's in front of Matilda. Because it doesn't need water or air or anything. And basically, while she's interviewing it, it's just there. It's just like, and people are thinking it's dead or whatever. But those two are having an interaction telepathically. And I totally get that. So the ET says to her, is describing what's going on in this world, in this universe, in this cosmos. And I click with this as far as truth as well, being as I've interacted with other grays. It says, it calls itself an IS-BE, ISBE, immortal soul being. And it says that we humanoids are IS-BEs, but the fact remains we are under a type of firmament that is mechanic or electrical. I don't know how you want to say it. And so that we have this reincarnation going on. And I am not about reincarnation because I just, that's a whole nother thing. It's not free will. It's as if, you know, you go up, you go to the light and you think you're going to God, you think you're going to Jesus or whatever, and you get reincarnated and you're sent back to earth. You know, give that girl a Cupid. No, it's a trick. And, you know, when we go up to heaven, like, or whatever, you know, you get zapped and you don't remember. So what it is saying is like, we are all immortal soul. And that clicks with me. And energetically and scientifically, that clicks with me that energy doesn't die, energy is forever. And we are immortal soul. And for me, where I come from, we are of one soul. But I'm going to have to, like, let me explain that. So it's kind of like, you know, like this is my arm, one soul. But, you know, we are still individuals. So, you know, like here is this fingernail, here's this fingernail, here's this, you know. So it's like a lot of people are like, oh, if you say we are all one, that you don't have individuality anymore. No, that is not true. You are still individual, but you are immortal soul. Who and how you are is B. And that as an ET, what they inhabit on their planet, they're more just is immortal soul, kind of like a light being, right? Or, you know, think about light beings. And then they incorporate a being, which is a doll, and then they can move around in 3D world. And I've seen a lot of other UFO sightings where people see. I was just told of a story, tin can. It was like tin can UFO or something that happened in Minnesota. And I heard this from MUFON. And you know, like there was a ship that came down. It was a cylinder, kind of a rocket ship that came down, and then there was like these trash cans that were boopity booping around, kind of like R2D2s. But if I think about what this IS-BE, this gray alien who was talking to Matilda, and she's like, this grace is saying that their soul can inhabit and or animate inanimate objects. So I'm thinking this makes sense because whatever oversoul or, you know, immortal soul is inhabiting these trash cans, you know, they're doing their job. You know, and that might not make sense to you, but how that works. But I'm going to say we have a biological body. We are an immortal soul inhabiting a organic biological body. They're just saying that they're inhabiting a body that isn't a living biome. Let's put it that way. And so, so an IS-BE. But this morning, you know, a couple days ago, I was thinking, you know, here we have all this AI stuff that's going on, and that's a whole nother long story. But, you know, I think about data, you know, in Star Trek Generations and that, and we are creating more and more AI and or automatons, robots that look more and more humanoid. Could it be at a certain point, you know, because like Elon Musk is talking about, you know, implants, and that is great. And because some of these implants will help and heal people who've had spinal injuries or whatever, electrical injuries, and, you know, they can connect it to their brains. And that is scientific and that is true and that is wonderful. But I'm kind of thinking more forward because of my own experiences. So could there be an IS-BE? Could there be somebody like Data who was a complete android? He is just AI. He doesn't have a soul. But if we fast forward this, because, you know, these other beings, like, you know, like everything else is like billions, trillions, gazillions of years old, like forever and ever. Like we, you know, and humanoids are like, how long have we been around? You know, how many tens of thousands of years, that's debatable. But anyway, could there be a time where humanoids become IS-BEs? We take our immortal souls, and that was one of the things that happened to me as a child, which this Matilda, in talking to this great alien, talked about out of body experiences and how to pop out of body, which was something I naturally did as a child. Like, I would go to sleep, and then in the morning I would come into the room and I would see my body not animated, and I would enter in through my crown chakra and wake up and animate my body, right? So I've experienced this as kind of like a is-be of that. Here is my soul and here's my physiological body. So I've actually connected with this, and I'm very familiar with it because um that's how the world was for me, growing up, even into my teen years. So um I don't know what that makes me, but it makes you an ISB too, an immortal soul. But I'm just saying, let's be kind of aware of this AI technology and what's going to happen. I'm just presenting this idea to you. So, and I just want to say also, with your thoughts, please don't be in fear. Please don't be in fear. Always gather knowledge. Don't be in fear of it. Stay in your heart. Stay in kindness and act in kindness. Okay? Stay a whole holy human, because this is a prison break. We've been gaslighted. You are divine, and I'm trying to help you connect to your divinity so that the powers that be can't control us anymore, because this has been a slave planet up until now, and we got to bust out of it, people. All right? Thank you. I appreciate your time.